Happy Valentine's Day, right? Turns out I was the joke. She swore she was in it for life, all the forever stuff, while quietly lining up my replacement. I dropped $200 on that bouquet. But the look on my wife's face when I stepped into her office that Valentine's afternoon? That part was priceless, just not in the way I'd imagined. My name's Ethan Clark, and up until that day, I honestly believed I knew my wife. The elevator doors slid open on the 15th floor of Meridian Tech's shiny glass headquarters, and the second I stepped out, my gut told me something was off. You ever walk into a place and feel the air change instantly? Like a record scratch in real life? Yeah. That. Conversations stopped cold. And what made it worse was nobody even tried to hide it. No awkward coughing. No fake smiles. Just silence. I'd spent the entire morning setting this up. 2 tickets to Paris tucked neatly inside my jacket. A reservation at L'Irin for that night. And the stupidly oversized red roses Sophia always claimed she adored. After 18 years together, I figured I had her pretty well figured out. Turns out, I couldn't have been more wrong. Ethan? Maya Lin, one of Sophia's co-workers, said my name like it physically hurt her to say it. Her face had gone pale, almost the color of spoiled milk. What are you doing here? I'm surprising my wife for Valentine's Day, I said, lifting the bouquet a little. Is she in her office? The silence stretched out, thin and tight, like a rubber band pulled too far. A bunch of 20-something faces stared back at me, some full of pity, others barely hiding their amusement. Carlos Vega, the office gossip who always sucked up to Sophia, actually stepped back, like he didn't want to be anywhere near me. Ethan, Maya said again, softer this time. Maybe you should. There he is, a loud voice boomed across the open floor. Derek Ford. The CEO himself. He was walking toward me with his arms spread wide, acting like we were old buddies. We weren't. I'd met him maybe 3 times, always at company events, and every time he struck me as the kind of guy who practiced smiling in the mirror. Derek, I said, nodding, confused by his sudden warmth. Is Sophia around? I wanted to surprise her. Oh, she's going to be surprised, all right, he said, smiling. Something in his tone made my stomach sink. That grin wasn't friendly, it was predatory. Like a shark right before it decides to bite. That's when I saw her. Sophia stepped out of a conference room, and yeah, she looked incredible. Hair perfect. Makeup flawless. She was wearing the blue dress I'd bought her for Christmas. But none of that was what stopped me in my tracks. It was the ring. A massive diamond sitting on her left hand. Definitely not the simple band I'd slipped onto her finger 18 years earlier. Congratulations, someone shouted from across the office. When's the wedding? Another voice called out. Sophia looked at me, and in about 2 seconds, I watched her face go through a whole highlight reel of emotions: shock, guilt, defiance, and finally something that looked disturbingly close to relief. Derek greeted her with an inappropriate display of affection in front of co-workers. When they finally separated, his arm stayed wrapped around her waist like a claim. Everyone, Derek announced, his voice cutting cleanly through the room. I want you all to know that Sophia has made me the happiest man alive by agreeing to be my wife. The clapping started slow, then grew louder. Someone popped champagne. Maya actually cried happy tears. And I stood there holding $200 worth of roses, feeling like I'd just been run over by a freight train. Ethan, Sophia said quietly. She pulled away from Derek and walked toward me, her heels clicking against the polished floor. Congratulations, I said. I was surprised by how steady my voice sounded. When's the big day? Ethan, I can explain. Can you? I asked, glancing back at the ring. It was enormous. Because from where I'm standing, it looks pretty clear. Derek slid in beside her again, still wearing that shark smile. Ethan, right? Sophia has told me so much about you. Has she? I shifted the bouquet to my left hand and offered my right. He shook it, too firm, too long. A power move. Funny, I said. She's never mentioned you once. The color drained from Sophia's face. Ethan, please, she whispered. Not here. Why not? I looked around at the crowd watching our personal disaster unfold. Seems like everyone else already knows. Guess I'm the last guy to get the memo. It's not like that, she said, but even she didn't sound convinced. So what is it like? I asked. Because it sure looks like my wife just got engaged to another man while she's still married to me. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Carlos Vega had his phone out, probably recording. Maya was still crying, but now it looked more like embarrassment than joy. The champagne stopped flowing. Derek stepped slightly in front of Sophia, protective. That little move made my jaw tighten. Look, Ethan, he said. I know this is awkward. Awkward? I laughed, sharper than I meant to. My wife getting engaged to her boss at work on Valentine's Day while I'm holding flowers, that's not awkward. Awkward is walking into the wrong bathroom. This is something else entirely. We need to talk, Sophia said. Privately? I really studied her. The woman I married. The mother of my son. The person I trusted with everything. You know what, Sophia? I think you've said plenty. I walked to the nearest desk and set the bouquet down. The bright red roses looked absurd against the clean white surface, like blood splattered on fresh snow. Ethan, wait, she called. But I was already heading for the elevator. The doors opened immediately, like the universe finally throwing me a bone. As I stepped inside and turned around, the entire office was still watching me. Tears were streaming down Sophia's face now. For the first time since I'd walked in, Derek actually looked uneasy. Everyone else? They just looked relieved, like they were grateful the free entertainment had finally ended. Enjoy the party, I said as the elevator doors slid shut. The ride down was silent. No music. No small talk. Just the hum of the cables. I pulled out my phone. 18 missed calls. All from Lucas. My 16-year-old son had been texting me all morning, asking if I was really sure about surprising his mom at work. Smart kid. Smarter than his old man, apparently. I called him back as I crossed the lobby. Dad? His voice was tight, strained. Are you okay? I've been trying to reach you. I'm okay, son, I said. Just leaving your mother's office. How did it go? I pushed through the glass doors and stepped into the February cold. The sky was the dull gray of old concrete, and slushy snow covered the sidewalks. Seemed fitting. Perfect weather for the worst day of my life. Well, I said, your mom's getting married. What? He sounded genuinely confused. Dad, that doesn't make any sense. She's already married. To you. Yeah, I said, digging my keys out of my pocket. That's what I thought too. I climbed into my truck and turned the engine over. My phone immediately started buzzing: texts, calls, Facebook messages. News was spreading fast. Way faster than I was ready for. So I ignored it. Instead, I opened my banking app and started canceling things. The Paris trip. The dinner reservations. Joint credit cards. Automatic transfers into our shared accounts. One by one, I shut it all down. By the time I pulled into my driveway, I'd cut every financial tie connecting me to Sophia Clark, everything except the house. And I was already working on that. My phone rang. Sophia. I let it go to voicemail. It rang again. And again. On the fourth call, I finally answered. What? Ethan, please, she said. You have to let me explain. Explain what? I asked. That you've been sleeping with your boss? That you got engaged while you're still married to me? That you humiliated me in front of your entire office? It's not that simple. It's exactly that simple. I was sitting in my driveway now, staring at the house we'd bought 12 years earlier. The place where we raised our son. Where we talked about the future. Where I honestly believed we were happy. She told me she loves someone else. Those words hit harder than any apology could. I love him. How long? I asked. Silence. How long, Sophia? 6 months. 6 months. While I'd been pulling 60-hour weeks to grow my construction business. While I'd been planning surprises and thinking I was being a good husband. While I'd been living one life, my wife had been living another with another man. The divorce papers will be ready Monday, I said. Ethan, wait. I hung up and powered off my phone. Lucas's car was already in the driveway. He must have come home early. Probably skipped his last class when he couldn't reach me. Good kid. He deserved better than watching his family explode on Valentine's Day. I found him in the kitchen, doing homework at the counter like it was a normal afternoon. But his shoulders were tense, and he was gripping his pencil like it might snap. Hey, Dad, he said without looking up. Hey yourself. I sat down across from him. We need to talk. He finally looked up, and I saw my own eyes staring back at me, the same ones that used to look at me with total trust. I prayed that wouldn't change after today. Mom's really getting married to someone else? Looks that way. Are you getting divorced? Yes. Lucas nodded slowly, like he'd already prepared himself for that answer. Are you okay? Was I okay? My wife of 18 years had publicly humiliated me. My marriage was over. My family was fractured. And my son was watching me like he expected me to shatter at any second. But sitting there across from him, looking at the one person who still mattered more than anything, I realized something. I was angry. Furious, actually. But I wasn't broken. I'm going to be fine, I said. We both are. And for the first time since I'd walked into that office, I meant it. My phone had been vibrating nonstop for 3 hours. 47 missed calls. 32 texts. Enough Facebook notifications to crash a server. I turned the ringer off, but the screen kept lighting up like a strobe. Lucas pretended to work on homework, but I could see him watching me out of the corner of his eye, waiting to see if I'd lose it or punch a hole in the wall. Neither happened. Instead, I was doing something far more satisfying. I was methodically dismantling 18 years of shared finances with the calm precision of a surgeon. Dad, Lucas finally said, giving up on algebra. What are you doing? Taking care of business, I replied, not looking up from my laptop. Did you know your mother's been using our joint credit card to buy gifts for her boyfriend? I continued. Expensive ones. I turned the screen toward him. Jewelry stores. High-end restaurants. A weekend at some luxury resort upstate. All in the last 3 months. All while she'd been telling me we needed to tighten our budget. Lucas's jaw clenched. She used your money for that? Our money, I corrected. But not anymore. By then, I'd already moved my business accounts to a new bank, changed every password, cancelled the cards, and removed Sophia as the beneficiary on my life insurance. It was shocking how fast you could unravel a shared life with a few clicks and phone calls. My phone lit up again, this time from a number I didn't recognize. Ethan Clark, I answered. Mr. Clark, this is Ryan Lynn from First National Bank. I'm calling about some irregular activity on your accounts today. What kind of irregularities? I asked. Well, sir, he said carefully, you've made several large transfers and account closures in a very short period of time. The banker cleared his throat. Our system flagged today's activity as potentially fraudulent. That one almost made me laugh. It's not fraud, Ryan, I said. It's a divorce in progress. There was a long, careful pause. I understand, he replied. In that case, is there anything else we can assist you with? Yeah, I said. I need to know how to legally remove someone from a joint mortgage. I'll connect you with our mortgage department. Perfect. While the hold music played, Lucas slid into the chair beside me. Dad, he said quietly, can I tell you something? You never have to ask. He hesitated. I already knew about Mom and that guy. I turned so fast I nearly knocked my coffee over. What do you mean you knew? I saw them, he said. About 2 months ago. I was at the mall with friends, and I saw Mom having lunch with this older guy. They were holding hands. He rubbed his palms on his jeans, embarrassed just saying it out loud. At first I told myself it was nothing, he went on. But the way they looked at each other. I knew it wasn't just friendly. My chest tightened. Why didn't you tell me? He stared at the floor. I didn't want to be wrong. And I didn't want to hurt you. I'm sorry, Dad, he added. I should have said something. No, I said firmly, closing the laptop and facing him. You did nothing wrong. That was never your burden to carry. But if I had. If you had, I cut in gently, it would have only changed the timing. Not the ending. The phone buzzed again. Sophia. I answered without sitting down. What do you want? Ethan, thank God, she said. I've been calling you all day. I know. I know you're upset. Upset? I walked to the window. Outside, Mrs. Whitman was passing by with her dog, same pace, same routine. The world hadn't paused for my disaster. It never does. Upset doesn't even scratch the surface. Can we please talk in person? About what? I asked. About you having an affair while I was working myself into the ground? About getting engaged while still married to me? Or about turning your office into a public execution? I never wanted you to find out that way. Then how? I asked. When exactly was I supposed to find out? Before or after the paperwork showed up? She didn't answer. That's what I thought. Derek wants to talk to you, she said finally. Derek can choke on it. Ethan, he feels awful. I laughed, sharp and bitter. He feels awful that he embarrassed another man in public? How tragic. He's not just my boyfriend, she said. He's my fiancé. Then while you're still married to me, I said evenly, he's your affair partner. And you're cheating. Call it whatever helps you sleep. Don't say that. Why? I asked. Because it's accurate? She started crying. I could hear it clearly. And I felt nothing. That scared me a little. For 18 years, my instinct had been to fix things, to comfort her, to soften the moment. That instinct was gone. I want a fair share of the assets, she said. Which assets? Everything we've built together. And there she was. Not the woman who'd slipped up. Not the one drowning in regret. The real one already counting assets. You don't get to demand anything, I said. That's not how divorce works here, Ethan. I know my rights. So do I said. Because I'd been doing my homework. And infidelity still matters in this state. Silence again. That changes the math, I added. You can't prove anything. I reopened my laptop. Romantic dinners. Hotel stays. Jewelry. All charged to our joint account. That's proof. And your coworkers? I continued. I'm guessing they'll have plenty to say after today. Ethan. And I doubt Derek was the first, I said. People don't suddenly become expert liars. What are you implying? I'm implying I'm hiring a private investigator, I said calmly. Every late night. Every trip. Every excuse. We're going through it all. You're paranoid. No, I said. I'm finally paying attention. I ended the call. Then I called my lawyer. Adam Blake, he answered. Adam, it's Ethan Clark. I need to file for divorce. What the hell happened? I gave him the condensed version. When I finished, he whistled. Public engagement. Still married. Infidelity. Asset misuse. That's remarkably clean, legally speaking. How fast? If she cooperates, 6 months. If she fights, longer. I want her out of the house. I can file for exclusive use, he said. Given the facts, we'll likely win. Do it. He hesitated. Ethan, I have to ask. Are you sure? People screw up. That doesn't always mean it's over. There's nothing left to save. All right, he said. I'll start tonight. When I hung up, Lucas was watching me differently now. You're really making her leave? This is my house, I said. I built the life that paid for it. I'm not walking away because she chose to burn it down. He swallowed. What about me? That question landed hard. Harder than anything else that day. Because for the first time, I realized the next fight wasn't just about property or pride. It was about my son. And I hadn't planned for that yet. Sophia was going to fight for Lucas. Not because she suddenly discovered some deep maternal instinct, but because she knew it would hurt me. That was how she operated now. You'll live wherever you want, I told him. You're 16. The court listens to what you want. I want to stay with you, Lucas said immediately. Even if it means switching schools. If your mom moves in with Derek, I said carefully, she might try to take you with her. He didn't hesitate. He shook his head hard. I'm not living with that guy, he said. And I'm not leaving you by yourself. Smart kid. Maybe too smart for his own good. My phone buzzed again. This time it wasn't Sophia. It was a number I didn't recognize. This is Derek. We need to talk. I showed the screen to Lucas. He rolled his eyes so hard I thought they might stick. What are you going to say to him? I thought for a second, then typed back. No, we don't. The reply came instantly. I think we do. There are things you don't understand. Like what? I typed. Like the fact that Sophia has been unhappy for years. Like the truth that your marriage was already over. I stared at the screen, jaw tightening. This smug bastard, was about to explain my own marriage to me. You don't know anything about my marriage. I know more than you think. Sophia told me everything. I let out a short laugh and typed back. Did she tell you she's been using our joint money to buy you gifts? Did she tell you she's been lying to me for months while I paid for her lifestyle? Did she tell you she got engaged to you while she was still married to me? There was a pause this time. Then. She told me you've been emotionally absent for years. That you're always working. That she's been lonely and unfulfilled. I handed the phone to Lucas. He read it once and snorted. That's complete bullshit. I raised an eyebrow. You work your ass off for us, he said. You were always there. She's the one who was always too busy with work or friends or whatever. Out of the mouths of kids. I took the phone back. If she was unhappy, she could have asked for a divorce instead of cheating. It's not that simple. It really is, I typed. Adults talk. Children sneak around and lie. You're being unreasonable. No, I wrote. I'm being honest. There's a difference. Look, I'm trying to handle this like a gentleman. But if you're going to make things difficult. You're going to what? I typed. Threaten me? You're involved with a married woman. Don't act like the victim here. Then came the invitation. Meet me tomorrow night. 7 o'clock. Riverside Grill. We can talk like adults. I stared at the message longer than I should have. Every logical part of me said don't do this. Let the lawyers handle it. Don't create more problems. Don't pour gasoline on an already burning house. But another part of me, the part that had been humiliated in front of a room full of strangers, wanted to look Derek Ford in the eye and say exactly what I thought of him. "Dad," Lucas said quietly. "What are you thinking?" "I'm thinking your mom's boyfriend wants to meet me tomorrow night." "Are you going?" "I shouldn't." "But you will," he said. "Probably." Lucas grinned. "Can I come?" "Absolutely not." "Come on," he said. "I want to see you destroy this guy." "I'm not destroying anyone," I said. "I'm just talking." "Right," he said, still smiling. Derek was still waiting for an answer. Against my better judgment, I typed, "Fine. 7. But this better be worth my time." The response came immediately. "It will be." I shut my phone off and looked at Lucas. "Your mother is going to be furious when she finds out." "Good," he said. "She deserves it. Smart kid. Definitely too smart." And for once, he was right. Sophia deserved to be angry. She deserved a lot of things. And I was just getting started. The waitress came back and set my scotch in front of me. I took a slow drink and let Derek sit with his question a little longer than was comfortable. "You really want to know what was wrong at home?" I said at last. "Fine. My wife was sleeping with her boss. That was the problem. Everything else people like to talk about, distance, stress, communication, that was just background noise. It didn't start because she was lonely. It started because she's selfish and she lies." Derek's jaw clenched tight. "You don't know her the way I do." I stared at him. "I've been married to her for 18 years. How long have you known her?" 8 months. 8 months, I repeated, letting out a short laugh. "And you think 8 months gives you a better read on her than almost 2 decades? "I know what she needs," he said. "What she needs is a divorce lawyer," I shot back, "because that's exactly what she's about to get." Derek took a long pull from his drink, his knuckles white around the glass. He was fighting his temper. "Good. Angry men slip up." "Look," he said finally, "I didn't bring you here to argue about who understands Sophia better. I wanted to talk because I'm trying to make this as painless as possible." "Painless for who?" I asked. "Because it already hurts like hell for me. And for everyone else. Including your son." The second he mentioned Lucas, my pulse jumped. "Leave my kid out of this. He's part of it whether you like it or not," Derek said. "How this gets handled affects him. If you and Sophia can come to some kind of amicable agreement." "There is no we," I cut in. "There's me. There's my cheating wife. And there's you, the guy she cheated with. Lucas will be fine. He's going to live with me." Derek raised an eyebrow. "Are you sure about that?" Something in his voice made me look closer. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Sophia is a good mother. She loves Jamie." "Yeah," I said dryly. "Destroying his family on Valentine's Day is a real touching way to show it. She didn't plan for it to happen like that." "Oh? Then how exactly did she plan it? After high school? After college? When was she going to tell me she'd been living 2 lives?" Derek stayed quiet. "That's what I thought. She wasn't ever going to tell me. She was just going to keep juggling both worlds as long as she could." "It's complicated," he said. "No, it's not. It's simple. She wanted safety with me and excitement with you." "That's not fair." "Then explain it to me." Derek finished his scotch and waved for another. "She was stuck in a marriage that wasn't working. With me, she felt something real. She didn't know how to leave without hurting people. So instead, she hurt everyone anyway, just louder and messier. She made a mistake." "No. She made a series of choices. Over months. That's not a mistake, that's a habit. The waitress set down his second drink. He took a big swallow before saying, "I want to marry her." I nodded. "Yeah, I gathered that when you proposed earlier today." "I mean for real," he said. "A real marriage. A real life. Then you'll have to wait until the divorce is done." "How long does that take?" "Depends how cooperative she decides to be." "And if I gave you a reason to cooperate?" I set my glass down and met his eyes. "Are you trying to buy me off?" "I'm trying to find a solution everyone can live with." "Here's the solution." She files. We divide things by the book. You two go live your dream. Or don't. I honestly don't care. What if the financial side worked out better for you? I leaned back. Go on. Derek lowered his voice, like this was some backroom deal. I'm willing to compensate you for the inconvenience. I blinked. Compensate me? Yes. So you want to pay me to walk away from my marriage so you can marry my wife? I want to make sure you're taken care of. I studied him, trying to figure out if he was actually serious. How much are we talking about? How much would it take? You really think this comes down to money? Doesn't everything? And there it was, the difference between us. Derek Ford believed every problem had a dollar figure attached. He probably assumed I was some working guy who'd fold for the right check. He was dead wrong. Let me be clear, I said. I'm not broke. My construction business is worth around $2 million. My house is paid off. I've got investments, retirement accounts, and enough cash that I'll be just fine. Derek looked stunned. Sophia told me you were struggling. Sophia tells a lot of stories. Most of them aren't true. Then what do you want? I want my wife to stop cheating on me. And since that ship sailed, I want a divorce. And after tonight, I never want to see you again. That's all? That's all. Derek slumped back, frustrated. Everybody wants something. Yeah, I said. I wanted a wife who respected me. I wanted to grow old with the woman I married. I wanted my son to see what loyalty looked like. Since none of that's happening, I want the next best thing. I want both of you gone from my life, fast and permanent. What about Jamie? What about him? Sophia wants joint custody. She can want whatever she wants. Lucas is 16. He already chose. She's his mother. She was his mother when she cheated. She was his mother when she got engaged behind everyone's back. She was his mother when she blew our family up in public. You're turning him against her. I don't have to. She handled that herself. Derek's face was flushed now, anger finally winning the fight. Between the scotch and his mounting irritation, Derek started getting sloppy with his words. You act like you're so much better than her, he said. But you're not. You're just as selfish. I raised an eyebrow. Oh yeah? Explain that one to me. You're using your own son to punish her. I shook my head. No. I'm shielding my kid from a mother who puts her own happiness ahead of his peace of mind. She loves him. If she truly loved him, she wouldn't have blown up his life this way. She loves him, and she loves me, and she's trying to make it all work. That's the fantasy. Real life doesn't work like that. You don't get everything you want without paying for it. She made her decision the moment she crawled into bed with you. Now she gets to live with what comes after. Derek downed the rest of his drink and slammed the empty glass on the table, making the silverware jump. You're cold, you know that? I'm practical. She deserves better than this. No. She deserves exactly what she earned. And what's that supposed to mean? A divorce. A custody fight she's going to lose. And a reputation as the woman who cheated on her husband with her boss. You jerk. Easy, Derek. You're showing your true colors. He shot to his feet and tossed a 20 on the table. We're done here. This was over before it even started. You'll regret this. The only thing I regret is wasting an hour listening to you dress up betrayal like it's a love story. Derek leaned down until his face was inches from mine. I'm going to take care of her. I'll give her everything you never could. Good luck with that. And when she's happy and you're alone, remember you chose this. I didn't choose anything. She did when she cheated. And you did when you slept with a married woman. I'm just the guy dealing with the fallout. He straightened up, his face twisted with anger. You'll hear from my lawyer. Your lawyer? I asked. What does he have to do with my divorce? Sophia will need representation. Then she can pay for her own lawyer with her own money. I'm going to make sure she gets what she's entitled to. You do that. Derek turned and staggered toward the exit, weaving between tables. Either the alcohol finally caught up to him or the conversation did. Either way, I was relieved to see his back. I finished my drink and left a tip for the waitress who'd been forced to witness the whole train wreck. Outside, as I headed to my truck, my phone buzzed in my pocket. 3 missed calls. All from Sophia. I didn't call her back. Instead, I drove home. Jamie was waiting at the kitchen table, books spread out, pencil in hand, pretending he wasn't anxious. The second I walked in, he looked up. So? How'd it go? About how I figured it would. Did you hit him? No. Did you want to? Yes. He grinned. What did he say? I sat across from him and gave him the short version. When I finished, he shook his head. He tried to bribe you? Yep. What a dirt. Language. Sorry. What a complete dirtbag. I laughed, even though everything else hurt. That's better. So what happens now? Now we wait for your mom to come home so I can tell her she needs to find somewhere else to live. She's gonna lose it. Probably. Can I watch? Absolutely not. But I was smiling when I said it. And so was he. Outside, a car pulled into the driveway. Showtime, Jamie said. Go to your room. Dad. This is between your mother and me. He gathered his homework slowly. If you need backup, just yell. I'll be fine. I know. She won't be. Smart kid. Too smart sometimes. And he was right, this was going to get ugly. I heard the key turn in the lock and took a deep breath. Round 2. Sophia stepped into the kitchen like she was walking into a minefield. Mascara smeared. Hair a mess. She looked like she'd cried all afternoon. Good. We need to talk, she said, dropping her purse on the counter. No. I need to talk. You need to listen. She pulled out a chair and sat across from me, the same spot where Lucas had been doing homework minutes earlier. The contrast hit hard. My son building a future. My wife trying to explain why she blew ours apart. How did your meeting with Derek go? About as expected. He tried to bribe me. Her eyes went wide. He what? He offered me money to be cooperative with the divorce. Apparently, he thinks I can be bought. That's not, he wouldn't. He did. And that tells me plenty about the man you're planning to marry. She buried her face in her hands. This is such a mess. Yes. A mess you made. I never wanted it to happen like this. Then how did you want it to happen? Were you ever planning to tell me about him? Or were you just going to keep living 2 lives forever? She stayed silent. That answered everything. You were fine lying to me as long as it worked, I said. It's not that simple, Ethan. Stop saying that. It is simple. You chose to cheat. You chose to lie. You chose to get engaged to another man while you were still married to me. Those weren't accidents. I was unhappy. Then you get divorced. You don't cheat. I didn't know how to tell you. You could have started with the truth. She looked up, tears spilling again. I was scared. Of what? Of hurting you. Afraid of tearing our family apart? Afraid of starting over? So instead, you chose the one path that guaranteed maximum damage and did it in the most public, humiliating way possible. I fell in love with him, Ethan. I never meant for it to happen. I snorted. Please. She flinched at my tone, but I was long past worrying about her comfort. You didn't trip and fall into his bed, I said. You didn't accidentally start lying about where you were. You didn't somehow stumble into an engagement this afternoon. None of this was an accident. I know you're angry. I cut her off. I'm not angry, Sophia. I'm finished. Her brow furrowed. What does that mean? It means I've already filed for divorce. It means I've removed your access to every joint account. It means I canceled the credit cards you've been using to buy gifts for your boyfriend. And it means you need to find somewhere else to live. The color drained from her face. You can't throw me out of my own house. It's not your house. I bought it before we got married. I pay the mortgage. My name is the only one on the deed. But I live here. I have rights. You had rights. You gave them up when you chose to cheat. That's not how the law works. Actually, it is. I spoke to my lawyer this afternoon. In cases involving infidelity, the court can grant exclusive use of the home to the innocent spouse. She stared at me like I'd just slapped her. You're really going to make me homeless? I'm not making you anything. You made your decision. Derek has a house, doesn't he? Go stay with him. I can't just move in with him. We're not ready for that. You were ready to accept a ring from him this afternoon. That's different. How? Getting engaged is symbolic. Living together it's a big step. I laughed, sharp and humorless. You've been sleeping with him for 6 months, but sharing an address is where you draw the line? You don't understand. I understand perfectly. You wanted the thrill of something new without giving up the safety of what you already had. That's not true. If you were actually ready to be with Derek, you would have asked me for a divorce months ago. Instead, you tried to keep both lives running side by side. By then, she was crying openly. And that was the most surprising part of all. I felt nothing. No pity. No urge to comfort her. No instinct to fix it. After 18 years of marriage, that emptiness shocked me more than her betrayal. Where am I supposed to go? She asked quietly. That's no longer my concern. What about my things? Take what you need tonight. I'll have the rest sent wherever you end up. Ethan, please. Can we try to work this out? Counseling, something? Work what out? Your affair? Your lies? Your engagement to another man while still married to me? People make mistakes. This wasn't a mistake. This was a series of deliberate choices made over months. I still love you. The words hung between us like smoke. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. No, you don't, I said finally. I do. I love you and I love Derek. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. If you loved me, you wouldn't have cheated. It's possible to love two people at the same time. Maybe. But it's not possible to be married to two people at the same time. You chose. I chose Derek because I thought you didn't want me anymore. I brought you flowers today. I had plane tickets to Paris in my pocket. How is that not wanting you? You're always working. We never spend time together. We don't talk. I work to support this family. And we don't talk because you're never here, because you're always busy with friends or work or anything that doesn't include me. I asked you to go to dinner last weekend. You said you were tired. I asked you to see a movie the week before. You had plans with Maya. Those were real invitations. You just decided they weren't good enough. How do you know? Because you never asked. You never suggested another time. You just assumed and used that assumption as an excuse to be with Derek. She stayed silent. That told me everything. You've been hunting for reasons to justify what you did, I said. But there are no reasons. Only excuses. I'm sorry, Ethan. I really am. I'm sure you are. You're sorry you got caught. Sorry it blew up in public. Sorry you have to deal with the fallout. But you're not sorry you did it. That's not fair. If you were truly sorry, you would have ended it with him and tried to save this marriage. Instead, you accepted his proposal. I panicked. You chose. What about Lucas? Are you going to keep my son from me? Lucas is 16. He can see whoever he wants. But you'll turn him against me. I don't have to. He saw what you did today. I'm still his mother. Yes. And that's something he'll have to live with for the rest of his life. She stood up so fast her chair tipped over. You're a fool, Ethan Harlan. Maybe. But I'm not a cheater. You'll regret this. The only thing I regret is spending 18 years with someone capable of doing this. Derek was right about you. What did Derek say? He said you were cold and selfish and that I deserve better. Derek doesn't know me. And apparently, neither do you. I know enough to see that you're enjoying this. Am I? You think I enjoy watching my marriage collapse? You think I enjoy being humiliated in front of your entire office? You think I enjoy my family falling apart? I think you like making me hurt. You're hurting yourself. I'm just not stopping you. She grabbed her purse and headed for the stairs. I'm going to pack a bag, she said. Take your time. This isn't over, Ethan. Yes, it is. I'll fight you for everything. The house. The business. Custody of Lucas. All of it. You're welcome to try. She took a step toward the stairs, then stopped and turned back. You used to be a good man. I still am. I'm just not your man anymore. After she disappeared upstairs, I stayed seated at the kitchen table. I listened as drawers opened and slammed shut. Hangers scraped along the closet rod. Something heavy hit the floor, then the muffled thump of clothes being shoved into a suitcase. Every sound felt like punctuation, 18 years of marriage being dismantled piece by piece. My phone buzzed. Is it over? Lucas texted. Almost. Are you okay? I'm good. You want me to come downstairs? Stay in your room until she leaves. Okay. Love you, Dad. Love you too. About 20 minutes later, Sophia came back down carrying 2 suitcases and a garment bag. She'd changed into jeans and a sweater and fixed her makeup. She looked like she was heading out of town for a conference, not walking away from her husband. I'll stay at the Marriott downtown for a few days, she said. Until I figure out something more permanent. That works. I want to see Lucas before I go. He's doing homework. I want to see my son, Ethan. I raised my voice toward the stairs. Lucas, your mom wants to say goodbye. A moment later, he appeared at the top step. He looked down at her, his face calm but distant. Hi, Mom. Hi, sweetheart. I'll be at a hotel for a little while, but I'll call you tomorrow. Okay. I love you. I love you too, Mom. He didn't come down the stairs. He didn't ask when he'd see her again. Sophia glanced at me one last time. This isn't how I wanted things to end. Then you shouldn't have started them. She picked up her bags and headed for the front door. I didn't move to help. At the threshold, she turned around one final time. When you get lonely, when you realize what you've lost, don't come looking for me. I'll be with someone who actually appreciates me. I'm sure you will. The door closed softly behind her. And just like that, she was gone. A few minutes later, Lucas came downstairs and found me still sitting at the table. How do you feel? I thought about it. Tired. But relieved. Yeah. Relieved. Me too. You okay with all this? With Mom leaving? He sat in the chair she'd just vacated. Dad, can I tell you something? Always. I've kind of been expecting this for a while. What do you mean? I could tell you guys weren't happy. Mom was distracted. Like she was always somewhere else in her head. Why didn't you say anything? What was I supposed to say? Hey Dad, I think Mom might be cheating. I didn't know for sure. I hoped I was wrong. But you weren't shocked when it happened. No. I wasn't. We sat quietly for a bit, letting the day catch up with us. Dad? Yeah. Are you going to be okay? I am. We both will be. I promise. Promise? Promise. And for the first time since I'd stepped into Sophia's office that afternoon, I actually believed it. 3 weeks later, I sat in my lawyer's office reviewing the papers that would officially end my marriage to Sophia Harlan. Adam Blake had done solid work. Fair work, which meant Sophia was going to hate every word of it. She's not going to sign this, Adam said, sliding the documents toward me. Why not? Because she's not getting half of everything. Infidelity changes the math in a big way. How big? She keeps her car, her personal belongings, and her retirement account. That's it. Alimony? Unlikely. She was working full-time when the marriage ended and can support herself. The house? Yours. It was separate property before the marriage. The business? Also yours. She had no involvement, and again, the infidelity factor helps you. I signed where Adam pointed and handed the papers back. When does she get served? Tomorrow morning. At her office. That should go over well. Adam smiled. I figured you'd appreciate the symmetry. As I walked out, my phone rang. Derek Ford. I almost ignored it. Almost. What do you want, Derek? We need to talk. We already did. This is different. It's about the settlement. What about it? Sophia is getting screwed, and you know it. She did that to herself. She deserves half of what you built together. She deserves what the law says she deserves. Which isn't much. I'm not going to let you ruin her financially. You're not going to let me? I'm the man who loves her. You're the man who helped her destroy her marriage. Big difference. Meet me tonight. Same place. Not happening. I have something you want. I doubt it. Information about your wife you don't know. Ex-wife. And I don't care. You will. Listen carefully. Stay out of my divorce. Stay away from me. And if you threaten me again, you'll regret it. Is that a threat? It's a promise. I hung up and drove home, where Lucas was waiting with news of his own. Mom called. What did she want? She wants me to have dinner with her and Derek tomorrow night. Do you want to go? He grimaced. Not really. But I guess I should. She's still my mom. You don't owe anyone discomfort. I know. But if I don't go, she'll keep calling. Then go. And if it gets weird or uncomfortable, call me. I'll come get you. Thanks, Dad. The next morning, I was sitting in my office at the construction company, sipping a coffee I hadn't really tasted, when my secretary buzzed in. "Ethan, someone's here to see you. She says her name is Brianna Lynn." Maya Lynn. One of Elisa's co-workers, the same one from that office fiasco 3 weeks ago. My brain immediately started spinning. What on earth could she want? "Send her in," I said. She walked in looking like she'd swallowed a swarm of bees. Business casual, neat hair, but she kept tugging nervously at the strap of her purse like it was a lifeline. "Mr. Harlan, thank you for seeing me," she said, her voice tight. I wanted to talk to you." I gestured toward the chair. "What's on your mind, Brianna?" "I need to apologize," she said. "About the way things went down in the office. Everyone's behavior, it wasn't right." "You don't have to apologize," I said, my tone sharper than I meant. "You weren't the one who got engaged to another man while still married." "No, but I should have said something." "I should have warned you," she insisted, her eyes flicking to the floor. "Warned me about what?" I asked, leaning back, suddenly feeling a knot in my stomach. She sat down carefully and drew a long, shaky breath. "About Sophia and Derek. Everyone in the office knew what was going on. We all knew she was married. We all knew what they were doing behind your back." "How long had people known?" I asked, my heart sinking. "Months," she admitted. "They weren't exactly subtle about it either." "And nobody thought to tell you?" "Not our place?" I asked quietly, more to myself than to her. "That's what we kept telling ourselves," Brianna admitted. "But now I feel guilty. And you deserve to know the truth about everything." "What truth?" I asked, my pulse starting to pick up. Brianna hesitated, then reached into her purse and pulled out a manila envelope. "Derek asked me to give this to you." I raised an eyebrow. "Derek? Why didn't he deliver it himself?" She looked me square in the eye. "Because he's a coward. And he knows you hate him." "Smart man," I muttered. She gave me a small, almost apologetic smile, then stood up. But before leaving, she paused. "For what it's worth, I think Sophia made a huge mistake. You're a good man." "Thanks," I said quietly, watching her leave. I stared at the envelope for what felt like hours before finally opening it. Inside were photocopies of emails, text messages, and credit card statements. All of them connected to some kind of lease, but not just with Derek. There were emails from 3 other men, all of them intimate, romantic. The text messages were explicit. The credit card statements detailed charges at hotels, restaurants, and jewelry stores going back 2 full years. 2 years. My hands started trembling as I flipped through the pages. Sophia hadn't just been cheating on me with Derek. She'd been lying, hiding, and sleeping with multiple men for years, and somehow, I'd been completely blind to it. My phone rang. "Derek." I answered immediately, before the first ring even finished. "You son of a witch," I said through gritted teeth. "I take it you sent me the package." "How long have you known?" he asked, calm but sharp. "I found out about the others after we started dating." She admitted to a few affairs, said I was different. "And you believed her?" "I wanted to," I admitted, my voice shaking slightly. "But now?" "I see she's been lying to both of us from the very beginning." I felt like someone had slammed a door into my stomach. "Why are you showing me this?" I demanded. "Because she's been manipulating both of us, pitting us against each other," he said. "And I'm done being a pawn." "Manipulating how?" "She's been telling you she loves me, telling me she loves you. She spins whatever story she thinks we want to hear. Lies on top of lies." "So, what do you want from me?" I asked warily. "I want a deal," he said. "What kind of deal?" "I'll testify for you in the divorce. I'll hand over evidence of her affairs, her lies, everything. In exchange, you give me copies of anything you have against her." "Why?" I asked, skeptical. Because I refuse to marry someone who's been lying to me from day one, he said, flat. You've broken up with her? I already did. This morning, he said simply. I sank back in my chair, trying to make sense of all this. She must have taken that well, I muttered darkly. She threatened to sue me for breach of promise, he said. Can she do that? Probably not. But she can make life miserable for a while, he admitted. So, you want to get back at her first? I asked. No, he said firmly. I want to make sure she doesn't destroy either of us. I looked down at the documents spread across my desk, proof of years of lies, deceit, and manipulation. I'll think about it, I said, though I didn't know how long I could wait. Don't wait too long, he warned. She's already talking to lawyers, going after both of us. For what? You, for emotional distress. Me, for breach of promise and sexual maltreatment, he said casually. Sexual maltreatment? She claims I coerced her into the relationship by threatening her job, he explained. Did you? Of course not, he said. But that doesn't mean she can't make the claim. After the call, I sat in my office, staring at the mess my life had become. Multiple affairs. Years of lies. And now, threats of lawsuits from my wife against both me and Derek. I called Adam Blake. Adam, it's Ethan. We need to meet tonight. What's going on? He asked. I just learned my wife's betrayal is far worse than we thought, I said. How bad? Multiple partners. Multiple years. Adam whistled low. That changes things. How much? With this evidence, she might end up with nothing, I said. Good, he said. Ethan, are you okay? I'm fine, I said. I just want this nightmare over. That evening, Lucas came home from dinner with Sophia and Derek looking completely shell-shocked. How was it? I asked. Weird. Really weird, he said. What happened? Mom and Derek barely spoke. They kept throwing passive-aggressive barbs, and the tension was unbearable. Did they say why? Not directly. Derek said Mom wasn't honest with him, and Mom said he wasn't the man she thought he was. Anything else? Mom spent most of dinner trying to convince me you were being unreasonable about the divorce settlement. Said you were trying to leave her with nothing. What did you tell her? I said maybe she should have thought about that before she cheated on you, Lucas said. How did she react? She cried. Then Derek got mad at me for making her cry. Then I got mad at him. Total disaster. I'm sorry you had to sit through that, I said. It's okay, he shrugged. But Dad, yeah, I don't think I want to have dinner with them again. You don't have to, I said quickly. Don't worry about it. I'll handle your mother. The next morning, I met with Adam Blake and laid out everything Derek had given me. Document by document, Adam's eyes grew wider. Jesus Christ, Ethan, she's been busy, he muttered. So, what does this mean for the divorce? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. She's not getting a thing, Adam said, matter of fact. Not the house. Not alimony. Not a cut of your business. Nothing. And custody? I asked. With evidence like this of moral unfitness? You'll get full custody if you want it. I want it, I said without hesitation. Consider it done, Adam said, nodding. 2 hours later, Sophia called. She was screaming before I even picked up. You fool! You had me served at work again. It almost felt appropriate. Everyone at her office had seen the papers. Everyone knows what you're accusing me of, she shrieked. Everyone already knew what you did. I kept my voice calm. The papers just made it official. I'm trying to get divorced. The settlement you're offering is insulting, she spat. Insulting? I'd call it generous, all things considered, I replied. I'm not signing anything. Then we go to trial, I said evenly. A judge will decide. With the evidence I have. I don't think you'll like the outcome. What evidence? She demanded. All of it, Sophia, I said, voice cold. Every last piece. Emails, texts, credit card statements, hotel receipts, witness testimony, evidence of multiple affairs over years. Evidence you used marital funds to support your escapades. And don't forget Lucas, he's willing to testify about how your actions affected him. You wouldn't use Lucas against me, she said in disbelief. I wouldn't have to. He volunteered, I said, unflinching. There was a long silence. Finally, she hissed, Derek gave you that information, didn't he? Does it matter where it came from? I replied. That son of a witch. I should have known he'd turn on me. Maybe you should have been more careful about who you trusted, I said, flat. This isn't over, Ethan, she warned. Yes, it is, I said firmly. And this time, I really meant it. 3 days later, Sophia signed the divorce papers. She got her car, her clothes, and her personal belongings. Everything else stayed with me. The marriage that had lasted 18 years was officially over. That night, Lucas and I celebrated with pizza and a movie, just the two of us. Finally, a house free of lies, tension, and endless drama. How do you feel? Lucas asked as the credits rolled. Free, I said. Me too. Any regrets? Just one, I admitted. What's that? I wish I'd figured out what Mom was doing sooner. Maybe I could have spared you some pain. You couldn't have saved me anything, he said firmly. This was between you and Mom. Even if you'd known sooner, the outcome would have been the same. She made her choices, and now she's living with the consequences. Do you think she's sorry? I asked. I think she's sorry she got caught, Lucas said. Not quite the same thing, I said. Nope, he agreed. We sat in silence for a while, comfortable for the first time in months, just processing the end of an era. Dad, yeah. I'm proud of you, he said softly. For what? For not letting her get away with it. For standing up for yourself. For protecting us. I didn't do anything special, Jamie. I just did what I had to do, I said. That's exactly what made it special, he said, smiling. 6 months later, I heard through the grapevine that Sophia had moved to another city and taken a new job. Derek had left town too, probably to escape the fallout from their very public breakup. I didn't care where they went or what they did. They were no longer my problem. Lucas and I were thriving on our own. Better than thriving, actually. Without the constant tension of a failing marriage, the house finally felt peaceful. I'd started dating again, not seriously, just casual dinners and movies with a woman I'd met at a construction conference. Lucas approved of her, which mattered more than anything. Life wasn't perfect, but it was honest. And after years of lies, honesty felt like a luxury I hadn't realized I could have. One evening, as we finished dinner, Lucas looked up from his homework. Dad, do you ever miss her? Your mother? I asked. Yeah. I paused. I missed the woman I thought I was married to, but that woman had never really existed. That's sad, he said quietly. Maybe. But it's also freeing, I said. How so? Because now I know the truth. And the truth, even when it hurts, is always better than a lie. Lucas nodded thoughtfully. I think I understand. Good, I said. Because that's the most important lesson I can teach you. Always tell the truth, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. I will, Dad. I know I will. And I knew he would. Because despite all the pain, betrayal, and lies, something good had come out of it. I had raised a son who understood honesty, a son who would never let someone he loved go through what his mother had put me through. That was worth something. No, worth everything.